Cars Toon, El Materdor. One fine day in Radiator Springs, Mater and Lightning McQueen were out for a drive together. Lightning stopped to look at some grazing bulldozers. "Them's just like the ones I used to fight," said Mater. "What?" Lightning cried in disbelief. "That's right," Mater replied. "I was a famous bulldozer fighter in Spain." He began to tell his tale. "They called me El Materdor," Mater went on, spinning his story. He described his decked-out gold paint job. As El Materdor stood in the center of a packed arena, he struck a confident pose. The crowd cheered wildly. Among the fans in the stands were two Spanish señoritas. "Señor Materdor," they called as they oohed and ahed over the famous bulldozer fighter. Just one wink from the brave El Materdor made his adoring fans gasp and giggle. Soon it was time for business. With a nod of his head, El Materdor signaled that he was ready. A door at the side of the ring opened and a giant, angry-looking bulldozer rolled out. For a while, the two vehicles stood, eyes locked, sizing each other up. Finally, El Materdor raised his towhook. One glimpse of the red cape dangling from it and, presto! The bulldozer charged full speed toward the cape. El Materdor stood his ground, not moving an inch. Then, just in time, he whisked his cape out of the bulldozer's path. "Ole!" the crowd cheered. Again and again the bulldozer charged. Each time El Materdor dodged him with a last-second move, until the bulldozer finally surprised him. He came up behind El Materdor and pushed him clear across the ring, driving him right into the ground. The Spanish señoritas, along with the rest of the crowd, watched and waited in silence. Could this be the end of El Materdor? He was completely buried. Then the tow truck's hook poked out from a pile of dirt. At the end of it was El Materdor's red cape. The battle would go on. El Materdor dusted himself off and bravely faced the huge bulldozer once again. They cruised slowly around the arena. Through narrowed eyes they studied each other. The arena was silent except for the sound of their revving engines. Suddenly, the bulldozer smacked his front blade on the ground. Two doors at the side of the ring opened, and two more bulldozers drove out. Now it was 3 against 1. How in the world could El Materdor fight them all? The bulldozers charged. For a time, El Materdor fought off all 3 of them. He used his backward driving skills and showed off some other fancy moves. But then the 3 bulldozers circled him and began to close in. There was nowhere for El Materdor to go. Nowhere but up, that is. El Materdor waited until the last possible moment. Then, with a mighty leap, he jumped clear out of the path of the charging bulldozers, who collided and collapsed in a twisted heap. "Ole!" El Materdor cried, landing heroically on top of the wrecked bulldozers. The crowd went wild. The adoring señoritas threw roses. El Materdor caught a flower in his grill, and the ladies giggled. But the celebration was short-lived. Soon more bulldozers rolled into the ring. It turned out that the wrecked ones had some friends. "There I was, surrounded," Mater told Lightning. bulldozers all around me." Mater and Lightning were still stopped in the middle of Radiator Springs. A fence separated them from the field of grazing bulldozers. Lightning was hanging on Mater's every word. "What did you do?" he asked. "What did I—" Mater began. "Don't you remember? You was there too." Then Mater continued his story, but this time he included Lightning in the action. "They sure liked your fancy red paint job," Mater remembered. In the arena, Lightning gasped. His paint job was red, just like El Materdor's cape. The bulldozers revved their engines and began to chase Lightning around the ring. "Olé!" the crowd cheered. Back in Radiator Springs, Lightning interrupted the story. "Mater," he said, "that did not happen." "Well, try telling that to them there bulldozers," Mater replied, pointing behind Lightning. The bulldozers that had been grazing on the other side of the fence were now surrounding Mater and Lightning. "Huh?" Lightning noticed the bulldozers eyeing his shiny red paint job. "Ah!" He took off down the dirt road, the bulldozers speeding after him. Just then, two fans rolled up alongside Mater. "Señor Mater," they said together. "Señoritas," Mater replied charmingly. He tossed on a Matador hat. "Oh!"